Home inspectors and electricians find many electrical issues inside of a home. Here are the 6 most common electrical issues we find in Raleigh, North Carolina. Most electrical problems aren't always obvious to most homeowners. A lot of times they're found during a home inspection, or if you're having an electrician out to your home performing an electrical inspection or doing some kind of repair. Catching problems early can prevent bigger problems down the road and help save you money in the long run. So today we're going to be talking about an AFCI breaker and a GFCI breaker and what that actually means to you as a homeowner, because a lot of times people just don't exactly know. And I'm not going to give you the scientific version of that. So inside of your home's electrical panel, this particular breaker is a GFCI breaker. This breaker is an AFCI breaker. And by looking at it, there's not really a lot of difference in the way that it looks, but in this particular panel, the AFCI breaker has a green color on it, and the GFCI breaker has a white color on it. And what these circuits are doing is protecting my kitchen outlets, which, because it's in a kitchen and it's near a sink, they have to be shock protected. My AFCI breakers, we have more of these. What they do is protect your branch circuits inside of your home from potential arcs or fires. So the difference between an AFCI breaker and a GFCI breaker is simply one does fire protection and a GFCI does shock protection. We see people come into an older home and purchase it all the time. Maybe someone's lived there for 30, 40 years, never really had a lot of issues with it. Maybe they were older, they didn't have the updated appliances. A new homeowner comes in, purchases it, they come in, start plugging in newer appliances, using the hair dryer, car chargers, updated appliances, things like that, but the home's electrical system just can't handle it. So we see a lot of issues on people purchasing like older homes, and plan on, if you are purchasing an older home and none of the wiring's been updated, having to spend some money on upgrading those things. So before considering buying an older home, make sure you have a home inspector go out, take a look at the electrical system, and make sure you know that you might be getting into a money pit and have to do a lot of updating to your home's electrical system. Another common electrical issue that we see inside of homes are outdated smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors. Inside of your home, you should have a smoke detector located outside of every bedroom and inside of every bedroom. And most of the time you're going to have a carbon monoxide / smoke detector combo outside of your bedroom. What you want to do is take this down, disconnect it, and check for the date code on the back of the smoke detector. It should be written of what date that is. Smoke detectors are made to last 8 to 10 years. And if it's older than that, you'll have a failed home inspection or electrical inspection. Another thing that you can look for is if your smoke detectors are starting to turn yellow. They're actually designed to start turning yellow when they're outdated and older. That's another thing that you can immediately see without getting up on a ladder. Make sure you're changing your smoke detector batteries regularly, at least once a year. It prevents that in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep. Another common problem that we see on electrical systems is double tap breakers, and that simply means where 2 wires are connected together under one breaker. Non-UL listed breakers for inside of the panel. Every breaker should actually be listed to go inside of that panel. And then messy panels, or it's corrosion inside of it or corrosion on the bus bar. So that's another common problem that we see on home inspection reports and while we're inside of electrical systems. Another common problem that we see inside of your home's electrical system, or that home inspectors find, is DIY electrical work. Over time, different homeowners live in the house. They might add something here or there. They may add a room on. They may try to do it themselves. And sometimes when you're getting ready to sell, or when you're starting to add on or getting something inspected, it comes back to bite you. So another common problem that we see in electrical systems in the Triangle region of North Carolina is the grounding and bonding issues. So what you should have at your home is, coming out of the meter or the main electrical panel, you should have a grounding system, ground wire that comes out, has an inter-system bonding connector, comes down, is strapped, and comes down into the ground and is attached to a ground rod. Actually, it should be attached to 2 ground rods. Older homes that have copper plumbing lines where your water lines run through, your actual ground system should be connected back to your water lines of your home, and we call that bonding. So when we're talking about bonding, we're talking about bonding any type of metal piping, such as gas lines or water lines, back to your main electrical system. And what you'll see is ground wire coming out from the crawl space and connecting to a connector that's located on top of this metal piping. And all that ties back in at your main electrical system where your main grounding system is located. Your electrical system is something you depend on every day. The goal is to make sure it's safe, reliable, and ready for your home.
Dawsons.